Right. 28 February 2025. And what a time in Zimbabwe. What an exciting period we're going through in Zimbabwe. And most people that don't see are going to see, because I've been saying this for a very, very long time. The military on one side with Chiwenga and Mnangagwa on one side with his family and the cabal. So what is happening right now is that the cabal has started running. Mnangagwa and his family are slowly leaving the country one by one. And by the end of next week, we'll be having a different conversation. So today, Mnangagwa is going to go to Namibia. This is the first time that Mnangagwa is going to leave Chiwenga as the acting president of Zimbabwe. So we explained here last week with General Stolle that this is a prerequisite for the takeover, the new takeover or the new arrangement in Harare that is coming. For it to be legally accepted by SADC, Chiwenga must come into office legally, and that means he must be the acting vice president or the acting president, the last vice president to act. Then Chiwenga will become president legally when whatever happens is going to happen. So when Mnangagwa leaves today for Namibia, this is the first time that Chiwenga will be the acting president. So that is this morning. And what Mnangagwa has started doing is to slowly move his family out of Zimbabwe, starting with Auxilia Mnangagwa, who went to Australia last week and she has not returned. So Auxilia Mnangagwa is still in Australia, and she is just wandering around doing nothing. So she is just wandering around she's not meeting government officials. She's going from one place to another, and she's basically buying time to see what is going to happen in Zimbabwe. Right now, as we speak, the whole Mnangagwa family is on the run. They are not together. One is going this way, the other is going that way. And guys like Chivayo have already left long back. So Chivayo left very long back. I think 2 to 3 weeks ago. Scott Sakupanya has left long back. Guys like Kudata Gure have left long back. They are all in neighboring countries observing. And many people that are prominent that you know have also left. So the only people that are left in Zimbabwe right now are people with no choice. Are those people that do not know or that do not understand what to do. So that is people that are not properly connected, or people that just don't have the means to live. Those are the people that are there. And obviously the military guys are the ones that are basically in charge right now, with Mnangagwa heavily protected. Within the team of Mnangagwa, there are many, many guys that are there just to protect Mnangagwa from himself. So if you look at Mnangagwa's team or security team, you will see that there's been massive changes in that team. And I've been given some of the names of the guys who are there, who have been put there just to make sure that Mnangagwa doesn't do anything crazy. So this is what is happening. The Mnangagwa family leaving slowly. And let's see what happens when Mnangagwa goes to Namibia. How long does he stay there? Normally, Mnangagwa will spend a night in a place. But under these circumstances, I don't think he's going to spend a night here. You can see the body of Sam Nyoma yesterday being paraded in Namibia. And already people like Ruben Barwe are already there. Ruben Barwe, mkoma wangu, atambora, kufambiswa nezvigananda. So that's crazy and unbelievable what is happening around Mnangagwa. I was supposed to have a guest today, but I'm sure she has chickened out again. But let me tell you what is happening. The focus now is what happens after Mnangagwa. So that is where the focus is. And as I said to you, there are 3 permutations. So let's start with the first one. The first one is Mnangagwa will leave, Chiwenga will take over for about 90 days, then there'll be an election. The second one is where there's total martial law, which is my preferred leadership. So I prefer the martial law. There will be order if there's martial law in Zimbabwe right now. So at the moment, we have a total confusion that is taken over. So I would prefer some sort of rule by the guys in the military. That is what is basically going to happen. For the next 10 years, you have the army in charge and sorting out all the craziness that has been happening right now. And this level, very, very important. The most important level right now is the level of brigadier general. These guys are about 100. So Colonel, brigadier general, there are about 100 guys at this level. These are your new leaders in terms of structurally fixing Zimbabwe. Zimbabwe is a collapsed state. The council level is collapsed. The government level is collapsed. The business level is collapsed. And everyone is having a free-for-all. There are no rules. Anyone with an opportunity to steal is stealing, including destroying the environment, including destroying the roads. If you put a fence up, someone is going to steal it. So someone needs to preserve order. And this is the level that Mnangagwa is targeting currently. Currently, Mnangagwa is replacing the generals. He is doing that because he's commander-in-chief. And as General Stole has said here, no one in the military has publicly stepped forward to say, I am the one who is going to be in charge. So at the moment, the status quo remains, and there is a pretense that is going on that Mnangagwa is still in charge. So Mnangagwa is replacing people, starting with what happened earlier on at, I think that was at 2nd Brigade, where there was a change, this change that I'm showing you here, and earlier on in the week. But these changes are cosmetic. Remember that command in the army starts at the top, going down. So if you change someone at that level, you are really not doing anything. He is attempting to make a change, but those are local changes. And Mnangagwa has lost influence in the army. Mnangagwa has lost influence in the security services. Guys in intelligence, guys in army, and guys in police, they want Chiwenga to take over. Last week, there were a lot of flyers in the barracks that were thrown at barracks, informing the soldiers that Mnangagwa is about to leave. So those who know, those who live in the barracks, they will tell you what I'm talking about. There were a lot of flyers thrown at the barracks, and the people who threw those flyers walked into the barracks, they threw the flyers, and they went out with no consequences. And this happened in Zimbabwe last week. So within the last 3 weeks, this has happened. Mnangagwa has lost influence. If he does not run, he's going to be chased. And this is happening as we speak. These are not things that I'm making up. These are things that are happening in Zimbabwe. Mnangagwa has lost influence. We are seeing the last days of Mnangagwa. Mnangagwa is gone. That is what I'm saying to you here. And I've got no doubt about what I'm talking about. The last thing that is required right now is the signal. So what is the signal? The signal is where the public is now going to be invited to go on the street and seal the deal. They're going to seal the deal. So the public needs to seal the deal by going on the street and making sure that Mnangagwa never comes back again, because legally he is going to have been removed by the public, and the new president will take over, supported by the military, who are going to be obviously behind Chiwenga. Chiwenga, the most loved person by the military right now. So Blessed Geza, who is the man that started this whole thing, is expected to feature when the conditions are right. And we expect that anytime soon.
It is clear to us that Mnangagwa is failed. He is not fit to run this country, and his time to go is now. We ask him to go peacefully. If he refuses to take heed of this advice, we have no option but to ask the people of Zimbabwe to deal with a rogue president in line with the constitution.
Right, so that is the situation. That is what we're waiting for right now. The Mnangagwa family reading the Times and living. And those people around Mnangagwa living and slowly taking away their wealth. So they've got a lot of wealth. So, for example, there are guys there who drive the Rolls Royce, who drive Bentley, whatever. They are going to be taking their car and driving it to Zambia. They will take the car and drive it to Moza, that kind of stuff. That is what is happening right now. That's why they want this to look like nothing is happening. You saw Mnangagwa's son yesterday. So yesterday, Mnangagwa's son has already left here. You can see Mnangagwa's chin. He left here to South Africa on a public flight. And don't take these things lightly. These guys are walking around and living. But it's easier to live with your wealth now. When you want to live with your wealth, you put it in Bitcoin. So you put your wealth into Bitcoin. Remember this guy. So let me show you. Let me see if we still have that old man here who had 3 billion in Bitcoin. So I'll find this picture somewhere and I'll give it to you. There is a guy who had 3 billion in Bitcoin who was kidnapped in South Africa and sent to Harare. That Bitcoin belongs to someone in Harare. And those are the things that you're going to see. You're going to see more and more of money leaving Zimbabwe through unorthodox means, gold, like General Wende was saying here. And Mnangagwa, they're going to take their gold, they're going to put it overseas. Transfers, they're going to transfer money to a different country and so forth. So that is what these guys do. They are currently taking away their wealth. But the Mnangagwa family, as we speak, Mnangagwa will be the last leader of the Mnangagwa family today in Zimbabwe. With Auxilia in Australia, she might even seek asylum there if things heat up. So don't think that Auxilia is going to fly back to Zimbabwe the moment it is right now. Auxilia is going to stick around in Australia. Then if things go bad, or if the plan goes as planned, they will meet up with Mnangagwa in Dubai or in another country. For example, they could go to any of the other countries that is in the north of Africa. I won't be surprised if they go to Kenya. It's possible that Mnangagwa would go to Kenya here because already Chivayo has been to Kenya 3 times this month. Just this month, he's been there 3 times, probably setting up for Mnangagwa. However, Kenya is too small. Kenya is extremely small. I don't think they can maintain someone like Mnangagwa in that country. I don't know. I don't think so. I just think that Mnangagwa is likely going to go to Dubai and live there. Then we also have the story I was telling you about of the billionaire, Bitcoin billionaire, Dr. Skosana. You remember that he was kidnapped in South Africa and the 3 billion worth of Bitcoin was taken into Zimbabwe. The owner of that Bitcoin has not been revealed. Who is the owner of this Bitcoin? This is very connected to what is happening right now. A lot of money has left the country and it's sitting in someone's Bitcoin wallet, but they don't even know what to do with the Bitcoin wallet. What a crazy situation. It's all trababulous. What's happening here? And then we obviously have the story of the National Transitional Authority. So remember what I'm talking about. I tended to go a bit longer there. So I said that a number of permutations. So that is Mnangagwa leaving and Chiwenga taking over for 90 days with a fresh election. We have martial law, or we have what is called an NTA, the National Transitional Authority. This is being proposed. Under the NTA, you are going to have Chiwenga as the president, you have Chamisa as the vice president, and then you have the rest of the people somewhere. However, what Mnangagwa is planning to do, according to sources, initially he wanted to replace Chiwenga with Tagwire. So this was the original plan, that Mnangagwa will make an announcement firing Chiwenga and replace Chiwenga with Tagwire. And then Tagwire will push as Mnangagwa's vice president. And before Mnangagwa leaves, he would then endorse Chamisa. And this deal was brokered by Chief Charumbira. And this is what is called the Karanga hegemony, by reason of however, he's been going at Chamisa for the whole week. And he says that this is called the Karanga hegemony. And so you should go check it out. These things are real. It's possible if Mnangagwa was to leave office and say Chamisa Chete Chete, then that would complicate things for Chiwenga. So that was the plan, that Tabure would become vice president and Mnangagwa would then endorse Chamisa, resulting in a Chamisa Karanga government. So that is what is believed by the guys who are in the Zulu faction. So tribally, Zimbabwe has got two major tribes. That is those from the north and those from the east. Those from the north include people like Chiwenga and the rest of the guys, Seva Kasukuere, Maimjuru, and all that. And then those from the east who are, for example, Chamisa, Mnangagwa, Charumbira, Gambakwe, all those people from the east, those people are supposed to then support a 37-year revenge. So the Zulu took over for 37, and Mnangagwa would go for 12 years, Chamisa for 10 years, and then another year, Karanga would go on. So tribally, this is what is believed to be the deal. However, Chiwenga, his job is to remove that and make sure that there's no tribal politics. So the people who are supporting that current arrangement of NTA is Ibo Mandaza here. He has already put out a proposal, and Tony Rilla has already put out a proposal. You can go and check this out in yesterday's newspaper. So people are now looking at what happens, what is happening after Mnangagwa, or what we call the post-Mnangagwa era. The Mnangagwa government is no longer going to be functional. It's not possible for us to go back to last week. We are at a point where Mnangagwa is gone. So Mnangagwa is gone, and don't think anything else. That is what is happening. Mnangagwa is gone. We are only looking at what happens next. How do we make it legal? And as I said, my preferred leadership will be a martial law. So that is my preferred leadership. And most of you don't understand why I'm saying that. The current group of people that are in politics are the worst group of people, both in the opposition and also within the main ruling parties, ZANU-PF. We are likely to go through cycles and cycles. So we need a very strong military right now, which is going to rein in the corruption. The corruption in our country is so bad. Corruption is what is destroying our country. So the question is, who do we have in the military who is not corrupt? That is a very important question, because once you stop corruption in Zimbabwe, the country is going to do very, very well. And Sam Nujoma is now going to play a big part in the change that is happening in Zimbabwe, because it is at his funeral that Mnangagwa is going to be away from Zimbabwe when what is supposed to happen will happen. 8:30 is the only 2030 that Mnangagwa is going to see. So I think I've covered that. That is about 20 minutes. I don't want to talk longer than Makandiwa. Makandiwa. So let's go to some news. I want to take you to some news very quickly. And as I said, Mnangagwa's family slowly, one by one, leaving the country, and his friends. And one day there will be no Mnangagwa member left in the family or in Zimbabwe. And let's see what Auxilia does. She got a lot of old clothes yesterday. Let's see if she takes those clothes back. Let's see what happens with this crew. These are the most important guys in Zimbabwe. They've led 3 leadership changes in our country. These guys are seen on this table, have made 3 leadership changes in our country. So one of the most important group of people led by Geza, Ngoma Sekuru or General Geza. Those are the most important people in Zimbabwe right now. Okay, now let me take you through the news very quickly. And we're going to start with some business. So Deribody Zimbabwe, through Mesindoro, have explained that they are now importing sterilized milk from South Africa. They're no longer making it in Zimbabwe because of the current problems where making it in Zimbabwe costs more than making outside. So it's cheaper to make the milk in South Africa and let the people smuggle it back into Zimbabwe. So that is what they're doing. Deribody Zimbabwe no longer making milk in Zimbabwe, only making it in South Africa and then distributing it from there because of what is happening in Zimbabwe. It's a total disaster in our country. Then my favorite person, my second favorite person, Judith Lenyirongo, she has written an article in, she's a pastor, so I'm going to be respectful, right? She's a pastor. So she's written an article in the independent newspaper. Go check it out on ESG. She's an amazing young pastor and also the wife of a pastor at Makandiwa's church. I'm not making fun of this church. This is my favorite church, actually. The UIF church. So check it out. She is a big person in consulting in Zimbabwe. So check out an article in the independent newspaper of Zimbabwe. And then in terms of what has happened with Tawanda Nyambirai, after Strive Masiwa has left Zimbabwe banking. So Strive Masiwa has totally left banking. He's now into what we call fintech. So the EcoCash holdings share price has collapsed by 42% last week. Starting on the 14th to the 26th, the shares came down from 25 to 14. So that is a deep, what we call a deep retracement, going lower than the second, the third. So if you have a share going up, it's supposed to retrace by about a third before it goes up. But what we've seen is a half. When you go to a half, you can either go back or you can go down. However, this is a real drop because assets have been stripped from the EcoCash. EcoCash now only has Steward Bank. So it's no longer the original EcoCash. So if you want to buy these shares, so this is not financial advice. Don't think because EcoCash was 25, now I'm getting a discount. You're not getting a discount. You're getting what we call the leftovers. A leftover. Dear Sarah. And banking in Zimbabwe is going to be a mess. Too many banks. And if you want to really do a good bank, you must get someone who knows how to read charts. That is Gambakwe. Munhu anogona kuverenga macharts. When I look at the chart, I can tell you what is going to happen. And we're going to do very well in this field of investing. Especially if you look at leverage. If there was leverage here, someone was going to make a lot of money here. Shorting this share, you're going to retire after this. But there's no derivatives market in Zimbabwe. And I hope that this is going to be sorted out. That is why people don't make money in Zimbabwe. There are no instruments to make money from such things. Then I want to look at the US Embassy. US Embassy in Zimbabwe. That is Ambassador Tremont over here. You know, like I always wonder, do these guys have like a uniform, like a Department of State? So I want to check out other ambassadors, how they dress. But I've literally never seen her wearing like a different thing. So let's see Ambassador Tremont. Right? Kuti, do these guys have a uniform of some sort? Or maybe they're using one picture. Actually, she doesn't wear different stuff. Let me see what she's wearing on different days. So they are having a function at Victoria Falls, and my young friend Ostalos is over there. Me and Ostalos are like brothers. So check it out. You see her standing with Mnangagwa. She's wearing that skirt and that skirt and that skirt and that skirt. It's amazing. So that is Ambassador Tremont over here. They're having what is called, so let's go check out what they're calling it. I want to see what Ostalos called it. So this is called the Advancing Human Rights in Southern Africa, and young Ostalos is going to be speaker. So we'll find it and we'll let you know what he is actually saying over there. So Ostalos, he is what we call a motivational speaker. So when he's speaking, you can immediately think that there's going to be a new Zimbabwe, there'll be democracy, and so forth and so forth. So I'll try to check out that speech in Victoria Falls, and I'll try to get my guys to go over and record from our office in Victoria Falls. So that is amazing. We've got some guys here, and I can see Ostalos as number 2 of the speakers. as one of the exchange alumni. So I think he was an exchange student at some point. You know that Ostalos was identified by Strive Masiwa. Go check out his history. Ostalos. He was identified by Strive Masiwa. I think he was one of the students that were picked up and taken overseas by Strive. So amazing young politician. He just needs to make himself a leader. So we want to see him becoming a leader of national consequence. So I would like to see Ostalos establish himself in some sort of way, because at the moment we know Ostalos as someone who supports Chamisa. Then in terms of other ambassadors, Sekuru Jo was out there having a function yesterday. I don't know what it was about. And then the ambassador of Cuba, the new ambassador of Cuba, came into Zimbabwe. She was with Mnangagwa. Susli Perez Meza. She's looking good, right? I don't know. Like, we will see when I go to Zimbabwe if we're gonna visit. I will never visit China myself. Now, I don't want to go to China because there's nothing for me there. I believe that the Americans are the people to work with, and that is because of capital. If you want to be friends with capital, go to the United States, go to New York, and I would encourage the new government that is coming in Zimbabwe to be very close to the Americans. I've been telling the guys that if you're not close to the Americans, you're playing. President Trump is building a very, very strong base in America. And those who are smart, they know what to do. Be very close to the Americans. That is the way to go. And South Africa is not getting it. So South Africa keeps fighting with the Americans and they're suffering the consequences. Yesterday, the AfriForum went to the United States and they met with the team of President Trump. And this is the minister in the presidency of South Africa, Kumbuzo Njaveni. And she slammed AfriForum. She slammed the Afrikaners for going to the United States. And she said that they are selling out and lying about the country. However, I don't think they are lying about the country. I think they're actually telling the truth. South Africa is a deep mess politically, especially with their relationship with countries like Iran and also groups like Hamas. You cannot be friends with Hamas and expect people to just leave it. So it's going to be a very, very big problem for South Africa. But I think for the new government of Zimbabwe that is going to come up, build a very strong relationship with the Americans, and you will see capital flowing in, visitors coming in. The country will be like a land of milk and honey. That is what we want our country to do well economically. And obviously, Chiwenga, we'll talk to Chiwenga and explain to him that these guys are the guys to talk to. All the other guys that are seen to just wandering around Zimbabwe, they're not interested in the long-term system in Zimbabwe. You need a system. What is broken down in Zimbabwe are the systems. Now, let's see if there's anything else that I've left here. The former Zimbabwe Rugby Union president, Aaron Jani, has died. He died of cancer. He was 51 years old, so he's passed away. Very, very sad situation. And what is causing cancer in Zimbabwe? It's in the water. You are drinking cyanide on a daily basis, and you are drinking contaminated water. You also don't have primary health care. So by the time you find out the cancer is there, it's already too late. Very sad what's happening in our country. Blessed Mnangagwa is going to appear in court today for his bail hearing. Let's see what happens over there. And I hope that today is going to be out. I talked to him before he was arrested. And unfortunately, he handed himself over to the police. You should never hand yourself over to the Zimbabwe police. If the Zimbabwe police call you, you must run. You mustn't hand yourself over to the cabal or to the mafia. Don't do it. So if the Zimbabwe police call you, hop on a plane and go to a different country. Not by your injection. By these guys, they will inject you with some unknown substances. So don't do it. So if you see yourself in a position where you're going to be arrested, leave immediately. Those are not police. Those are part of their goons. So they're not police, these guys. Now let's go to community. we are running a new special for our sponsors there. So if you're in Harare only, you are going to get a cup, a designer cup. Every time you buy a packet of Mve, you get a free designer cup. You see the number on Gambakwe. So if you go to Gambakwe, you're going to see the cup. So let me show you this pretty young man who is on the cup. So this is what we call a designer cup. So if you go over there, you're going to see that beautiful cup there. You get it for free. Once you buy that cup, is worth $20. So you're going to get that for free. That is from our sponsors, only for the guys in Harare. Anyone who buys from today up to the end of March. And Mve is amazing. So let me tell you about Mve. Mve is the most powerful herb in Zimbabwe. Our factory makes it very clean. I've inspected the factory myself. And today I want to show you what is called an emergency kit. Emergency kit. Let's say your match is about to start and you see it, you don't want to play soccer. This is your Mve, right? I'm keeping mine sealed now because I'm in a place where I don't want it to be dry. So you make sure that you take your Mve, that's your kit. 1 tablespoon, that's your ginger. We've given this in Blawayo, you can go get this for free. So your Mve, tablespoon, your ginger, tablespoon, your honey. I don't use this honey, it's weak. You must look for a honey which is strong. I'll show you what honeys are strong. And then coffee. Coffee must be expensive. You mustn't do that cheap coffee. Then obviously cup yam dara. The guys in Joburg are getting a free cup yam dara. And you put the mix together and avoid sugar. So don't eat sugar if you're a man. Eat honey. Then those 4 things. So that is your Mve, 1 tablespoon, your ginger, 1 tablespoon, your coffee, obviously no more coffee, and your honey. Then if you got a lemon, you can just put lemon in that whole thing. People know that you can use lemon and honey at the same time. And Mnangagwa pisa. Mnangagwa pisa. Apana munhu anomwa misa iyoyo anotadza basa. So basa rinoshanda rinoita immediately nature simba. This thing is amazing, it's powerful. It's the most powerful herb ever. The Mve powder, and we're selling 200 grams. The only people selling 200 grams in Zimbabwe and South Africa and UK. So UK, we don't have a special right now. We're probably going to have a special after a few months because I ran that big 2-for-1 special for you guys last month. So if you've never bought Mve, if you're in the UK, over here, that's your number. If you're in Zimbabwe, our office is at that number. And only Harare is getting the free cup. If you have taken Mve for 3 months, if you have taken 3 packets, you need to stop and call me on that number. WhatsApp me on that number. And you must go for a month without taking. So all those guys that have taken 3 packets, stop now for a month so that your body can recover. I know but don't do it for more than 3 months because your body needs to rest. And salad. Okay, now let's recap what I said here. I said the Mnangagwa family is slowly leaving the country one by one, starting with Auxilia Mnangagwa who left last week, and the children that are leaving, including some of the children that left yesterday. And for the first time, we're going to have Chiwenga as the acting president, the last acting president when Mnangagwa was away. So we're now ready to legally have Chiwenga as the president. And Chiwenga is very, very popular in Zimbabwe. So Chiwenga is so popular, the army is behind him and everybody is behind him. The protest is going to take place by the 31st of March. And we should have a Chiwenga president by the 18th of April. However, there is a likelihood that Chiwenga Mnangagwa might throw spanners into the works by pretending to endorse Chamisa before he leaves. So it is expected that Mnangagwa will make some sort of statement to endorse Chamisa, just to make sure that Chiwenga suffers. That happened in Kenya, where the president endorsed the leader of the opposition. So that is expected to happen as part of what is going to happen. But a number of permutations are available on what is going to happen in Zimbabwe. However, Mnangagwa is gone. Mnangagwa arikuraya vanhu nenzara. Mnangagwa is destroying our country. Mnangagwa is troublous, and no one wants Mnangagwa. People are fed up, and they are looking forward to a new government. However, don't expect things to go in a straight line. Things are going to change. Events are going to happen, and new people are going to arise. You're going to see new people coming up every single day. New people are going to come up. Before everything settles down and Chiwenga becomes president, there are going to be new twists and turns before Chiwenga becomes the president. And I hope that this man is going to make a change. We're fed up with these fake changes that are taking place in Zimbabwe. But the departure of Mnangagwa and his cabal is the beginning of everything. And all this started on this day. I told you when this started. 24, that is 2024, 31 March 2024, when Chiwenga boycotted Mnangagwa for the first time. And I told you that that was day one. That is the first day that Chiwenga made a stand against Mnangagwa. When he didn't go to Mbungo, there was a function at Mbungo, and Chiwenga boycotted because Chivayo was there. The army boycotted Mnangagwa for a number of weeks leading up or after that event. And this man you're looking at, that is Chivayo, is one of the reasons why the army turned against Mnangagwa, because he was almost a de facto prime minister or vice president. So the relationship between Mnangagwa and Chivayo is the reason why the army turned against Mnangagwa. They have told him, but Mnangagwa has not stopped. The corruption with his family has gotten worse and worse. And the army met on the 13th of December. I told you this day, when the army general met with Chiwenga on the 13th of December and said, this man must go. That was the day when this decision was made. And I told you that by the 31st of December, there was going to be an announcement. However, that didn't happen. A lot of things have happened behind the scenes, leading up to where we are right now. And first, remember, there was the dismissal of the police chief, the chief of intelligence, and all these events have been happening. The appointment of the new brigadier generals. So these things have been happening leading up to the appearance of Geza, the man declaring that Mnangagwa must leave.
You have failed this nation. You have failed us. And you have succeeded to put your family on the fore as one of the worst, the most hated in the history of the world. You can redeem yourself by doing the right thing. Step down.
And please step down, or will make you step down by force. This is what this man has said. And many, many other war veterans groups have joined in.
I just want to resonate with Comrade Geza's remarks when he came out, openly and criticized also the system.
Right, the system. So that is what it's all about. We are where we are because of what has happened. There is no way back. This thing is got only one direction, and that is the removal of Mnangagwa and his family. If the soldiers don't move forward, they'll all be killed. And do you think the soldiers are stupid enough to allow themselves to be killed? I don't think so. I don't think anyone will allow Mnangagwa to come back and kill them. So this is going to be only one way, and that is the removal of Mnangagwa. Mnangagwa under tight pressure, the biggest pressure has ever been, and his family slowly backing down and leaving the country in the face of the army. The army is the strongest body in Zimbabwe. No one can be stronger than the army of Zimbabwe. That is why Mnangagwa is leaving. That is why the people around Mnangagwa are leaving. And they're looking at a Chiwenga presidency. Chiwenga president by the April the 18th, you're going to have Chiwenga as president of Zimbabwe. Right, I would like to thank all of you for watching. This has been a long presentation, and putting all this together consistently is very difficult. Right, I think we have covered everything. I just wanted to show you a picture, one more picture. So let me show you one more picture here before I go. That is the Greece ambassador to Zimbabwe. So I like to show you these ambassadors, just in case they do something crazy when they go to Zimbabwe. Like, you never know. Some ambassadors do some stuff that when they do it, you don't know why they do it. But then eventually you get it. But let me show you the Greece ambassador to Zimbabwe, the new one. That is Anna Farao. She was with Mnangagwa yesterday. She's one of the ambassadors that presented the credentials. So we had Greece, and then we had this is Cuba, and then obviously we had Charakupa yesterday presenting. So yesterday, very active day for ambassadors. They're all out doing a lot of stuff, and this is because we have a lot happening in the country. If you see everyone quiet, that is a sign that something big is about to happen. So thank you very much, everyone, for watching. I'll see you again in the evening. I hope that something would have happened. We'll have a bit more detail, and I'll be able to give you an update. The reason why I didn't come yesterday is because we wanted to see what was happening with the story of Mnangagwa's son. So I wanted you guys to digest Mnangagwa's son arriving in South Africa yesterday. So one of our news readers put this out, and I wanted you guys to digest it. I'm sure you know how big this is. The Mnangagwa family living in Zimbabwe is going to totally transform the country, and we're looking forward to it. We're looking forward to something big happening before the end of this next 30 days. So let's see what Chamisa said. I always forget to check Chamisa in the mornings. So let me see what Chamisa has said today. Chamisa, one of my favorite people, although he's like, people just come up with conspiracy theory after conspiracy theory. Chamisa went to Japan, not Japan the country. So let's see what he did yesterday. I'm gonna share the screen with you here. So a great pleasure to attend Japan's National Day. Are you guys seeing it? Okay, there. A great pleasure to attend Japan's National Day reception at the EOG Zimbabwe Japanese Embassy in Zimbabwe, celebrating the 6th birthday of His Majesty the Emperor of Japan. So that is Nelson Chamisa over here. God is in it. God is in it. Nelson Chamisa is over here with the Japanese guys. I don't know who in ZANU-PF was over here. This is a man that is going to play a part in what is happening next. But that is his tweet from yesterday. And then let me see if there's anything else that he has said on his channel. So if you go to your phone and you go to WhatsApp, you go to updates and you go to the Chamisa News channel, you will see that he shared more pictures there of himself with the Japanese embassy ambassador. So go check it out, Chamisa News channel over here. Okay, I think I've covered everything, and it's been an amazing week. Today, a great day. Thank you very much for watching, and a good day to you all.
Anovura meso, anovura nzeve, anokaya mari. Kama kwezo tikom,